Back at it again for the second year in a row, bringing you reviews of horror movies, new and old, that I haven't seen. For the first day of 31 Days of Horror, I decided to check out the movie Haunt. Haunt is a horror movie about a bunch of friends who are just looking for something to do on Halloween when they happen to stumble upon a haunted house in the middle of nowhere. And of course, our main character, Harper, has a traumatic backstory that they have to mention a few times. Cause you know, we always have to have a broken character in a horror movie. The movie doesn't really explain how a lot of things happen, and most of it is just cause of coincidence. They turn down a road because Harper thinks they're being followed by her crazy boyfriend, which happens to lead him straight to this random haunted house in the middle of nowhere. They pull up and are greeted by this non-talking clown who collects their phones and ushers them inside. It's a pretty lame haunted house, to be honest, up until they see their first murder that they don't know if it's real or not. They keep going until one of their friends get hurt and the other friend goes missing, and of course it's this really slow friend in the group. Once they see the slow friend die, that's when shit hits the fan. The movie honestly wasn't that tense, and the cinematography was okay, but it didn't really capture that scariness that I was looking for. They go through a bunch of different rooms to try to figure out how to get past, but none of them are really booby trapped or like really hard to get through, and I was really hoping that we would get some hard rooms that are challenging, not just because the killer, you know, character actors, but also, you know, them having traps in them. I mean, there is one, maybe two rooms that have booby traps, but they're literally connected, so I just count them as one. The haunted house itself is used in such little effect that it didn't really matter too much, other than the rooms locking behind them. We also find out that the masked creepy killer guys have really creepy looking faces underneath their masks. While their faces are pretty creepy, it never really explains why they look like that or what their grand scheme of this whole haunted house is. Now, I don't need some huge backstory to explain this, but just give me a small little detail and that would have been a lot better than what they gave us in this movie, which is virtually nothing. The movie wasn't really scary at all, and everyone acts very stereotypical horror movie characters. They make a lot of dumb and stupid decisions in this movie. We also have a main character who has plot armor up the U-Haul. I mean, we see one of her friends get instantly killed by one of the killers, but then when they come after her, they're like playing with her and like poking at her, but they're not actually just instantly killing her like a lot of the other people. There's also this laughable scene with a shotgun in a room that is literally stationary, and for whatever reason, Harper is like crawling on the floor like to not get shot by it when she could just stand up and move against the wall and it literally wouldn't hit her. Speaking of kills, I don't like how the deaths were cut off like super fast. Once someone dies, the movie cuts away like almost instantly. There was only one kind of good bloody kill, and that's when the guy gets his jaw ripped off by a hammer, but other than that, everything was pretty tame. If you're gonna kill a bunch of people in a haunted house, I want to see some brutal kills. This movie had such a good premise, and they could have used the haunted house to their advantage, but they just failed to hit the mark. I do like how Nathan was the only one of the group that was actually fighting back and actually taking down some of the killers, which was really cool to see because you don't see that often in a lot of horror movies. I mean, he does a lot better job than Harper, who's just screaming and trying to flail away from all these killers the whole movie. This movie was just okay, nothing really too interesting to make you want to come back to it. On a scare meter, I'm going to give this a 2 out of 10 because it really wasn't that scary at all. On a blood meter, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10 just because of that jaw scene, but other than that, it wasn't really bloody at all. This is why I give Haunt a 5.5 out of 10. If you guys like this review, hit that like button. If you guys want to see more, hit that follow button, and as always, thanks for watching.